This report just told us everything about the Padres. Why are we losing games? What managerial decisions are working and what are not? What free agency moves could be happening? Lots of stuff. Let's talk about it. Hi, welcome back to another episode of Padres Digest with your host, Andrew. Like I mentioned yesterday, AJ Cassavell had an AMA, or Ask Me Anything, on Reddit. So people asked him questions. He gave his best response. If you don't know who AJ Cassavell, he's like the main Padres reporter. So he knows a lot about the team. Let's put it that way. Today is Thursday, but this probably won't come out till Friday morning. So I don't know how the game went. I swear to flippity flip, we have better won, or I'll be pissed. But let's just, I don't know, relax, take a little seat, do whatever you're doing. I don't know if this is a long video or a short video yet, so if you're on your way to work and you need something to listen to, I'm happy to fill that need for you. But, like I said, where was I? There we go. AJ Cassavell, I'll be over on Reddit doing an AMA. A lot of fun doing this. Yeah, we did a video earlier this year and it was super fun, so I thought we could do it again. This time I don't have the straight up like quotes like written out. I just posted or I copied the picture. So if that's more low effort, I'm sorry. I just think it's easier to read this way. But let's start with this big one. Why has Shildt been so adamant about keeping Arraez at the 2 spot, like second in the lineup? Is there anything behind the scenes regarding Manny's slump or Tatis's lack of power? Is Tatis still hurt after his hit by pitch in Pittsburgh? So, I know it says MLB official, but it was AJ Cassavell, just to be clear. I think Shildt has been adamant about Arraez being the version of himself from 2022 to 2024 seasons, when he was a 371 OBP guy, and I believe nearly 400 against righties. Or at least he's adamant about ensuring Arraez gets back to that level. If Arraez is that guy, he's a very good option for the number 2 spot, at least against righties. But we're getting to crunch time, and Arraez has not looked like that guy at all this season. We'll see how the lineup looks come October. So, what he's basically saying is that Shildt is hoping that Arraez will get better, but he hasn't been better all year. So, at what point do we come to a conclusion that he ain't working out, especially at the 2 spot and just in general this season? And I'm not saying he's like a horrible player, because obviously he's not a horrible player, but he's definitely changed some things. I don't know if it's a mechanical thing. I don't know if it's because of his injury last year on his thumb, I think it was. But something hasn't worked for him this year. And I feel like recently he's changed his approach because he is swinging earlier often, but he is striking out more. So I don't know. But hopefully he finds something that works for him, because he does have good games recently. He has had good games recently. But I don't know. We'll have to see. He has like a half a month left to really tone, refine, retone. Can I say retone? What's the word? Refine, whatever. His skills. Hone. That's the word. Hone. Rehone his skills. I'm not a very smart person. Everyone knows this. But Manny's slump is a slump. He's been so steady for most of the year, which is true. Everyone goes through it. You just hope he breaks out before October. Tatis's lack of power, which has come back relatively well recently, has like 3 home runs already. But Tatis's lack of power is clearly something more than a slump, but I don't have much reason to believe it's injury related. So just give Manny some time. I mean, like I said yesterday in my last night's video, I hope that Machado will pick it up in October and be hot for the playoffs, because we kind of need him to be. But if he wants to get a slump out now, as much as I hate it, I'd rather now than playoff time. You know what I mean? And then moving on. Oops, wrong button. I have a few questions related to next year. Who do you think plays first base next year for the Padres? I assume Shildt could, but he might be better off as a DH backup first base left fielder. I'll just read his response real quick, just to keep things organized. Shildt is an excellent DH/backup option at first base/left field. I don't think the Padres go into next season with him as their first baseman. The good news, offensively, that's really their only need this winter, and there'll be a lot of options, including 2 pending free agents on the current roster. They'll bring someone in to play first, and they're mostly set everywhere else offensively. Yeah. I mean, first base is really the only big hole. We'll have Laureano next year if we use the club option, which I don't know why we wouldn't. He's been huge for us this year, and he's definitely played better than his current contract would be next year, because I think he'll make like $9 million next year, something like that. So I think first base is the only huge hole, and we definitely need someone with massive slug. Shildt can be that, but I don't think his slug is quite enough slug. Like, obviously 20 home runs is really good, don't get me wrong, but someone better. You know what I mean? Someone whose job is to hit home runs. I don't know. Maybe that's too simple of a statement, but we just need more slug. That's pretty much it. Secondly, what ETA do you have what ETA for next year do you have for Jason Adam, or is it too early to tell? I think there's a chance he's ready for the start of the season. His timetable post-surgery was 6 to 9 months, and opening day is 7 months after the operation. That said, no reason to rush him. How about late April next season? Yeah, there's no need to rush Adam. I mean, he's been injured a lot in his career, so let's just let him take his time, let the surgery do its thing, and we'll see him back next year. Yes, let me read the question. Do you see the Padres spending to sign a free agent pitcher similar to how they signed Pivetta? Any targets? Yes, I don't see how they can not sign a starting pitcher. I'm just not big into looking at specific targets until we actually get to the offseason. I don't know. I mean, I know I've made a video on upcoming upcoming starting pitcher free agents. I don't remember exactly who, but I know there are good names out there, and we don't even need like a top of the line name. If we can find another type of Pivetta player, that'd be great. I know Pivetta's like a diamond in the rough, but with Preller's scouting abilities, I think he'll be fine. Maybe that's a hot take. I don't know, but we'll see. And then finally, will this be Robert Suarez's last year in San Diego? I'll say 70-30, yes, it's his final season. He's been an excellent closer, but the Padres just have so much depth in the bullpen and need to address other stuff elsewhere. Yeah, I like Robert Suarez, but he is getting old. He only has 2 pitches, and he is good. Don't get me wrong. He's a good pitcher. But I think for the price that he's going to cost, I think that's better used elsewhere. And now that we have Mason Miller, what's his job going to be, right? I don't know if he wants to be a setup man again like he used to be when we had Josh Hader on his team. So, yeah, I mean, wherever he goes, except for the Dodgers, full luck to you. Honestly, it might be realistic that he might go to the Dodgers, to be honest, because they need closers. And as much as I'd hate seeing Suarez in a Dodger outfit, I feel like they're going to just sign Tanner Scott 2.0, so I don't know. But yeah, that was those. Let's move on to the next one. Thanks, AJ. It seems like Shildt is pretty defensive and standoffish to the media. Does this leak into relationships with the manager post-interview? Is this normal in your experience for a manager to not take criticism or questions from the fan base? Very good question, because Shildt is very, very, very defensive, as we've seen recently. Different managers just have different styles. Clearly, Shildt's style is to defend his players at all costs from any criticism, real criticism and perceived criticism. Honestly, nothing wrong with that. Do I think he could sometimes be more tactful in doing so? Sure, but I also know it's not personal. I mean, that's the safe answer, right? I don't think AJ Cassavell wants to get fired, so there's not much he can really say about that. But, well, I don't know. Can he get fired by the Padres? I don't know exactly how that works, but let's just say I get what he's saying. I feel like as a manager's job, though, like part of your job should be communicating to the fans and the media, like just in general communicate. You know what I mean? I feel like just shut them down and be like, what do you want me to do? Is just not good for anybody. You know what I mean? Thanks for doing this, AJ. Do you think Joe Musgrove has any chance of pitching in the playoffs or the end of this year? Also, will this be Arraez's last year here? A chance? Yes. Likely? I'd still say no. So yeah, probably no Joe Musgrove, and honestly, that's probably a good thing. I want him rested because we're gonna need him next year. Because I feel like our starting pitching is gonna be pretty depleted. Because I don't think we're gonna get Cease. I don't think we're gonna get Michael King. So we really need that OG Joe Musgrove to come back, which I don't know if we will, but only time can tell for that. As for Arraez's market, I truly have no idea what to expect. We'll spend a bit more time tackling that question in November, though Arraez clearly likes it here. But do we like Arraez here? That's a whole separate question. Not really. Doesn't really matter if we like him here or not. It's AJ Preller's decision, but we'll see. I'm not against re-signing Arraez. I just think we can do better. And again, we need slug. Arraez, no slug. So that's my opinion on that. Let's move on to the next one. Like most fans, I love that Preller isn't afraid to pursue major upgrades at the deadline, but the games before August matter just as much as they do in the last 2 months. Has anyone ever posed the question of how much less expensive it would be to pursue a deeper roster before the season begins? Finding a decent left fielder and a backup catcher in the spring or in May wouldn't have precluded bigger moves later and would have banked more wins. I have posed this exact question to people because I think there are some games the Padres lost in June and July specifically because they waited to act on their thin starting lineup. The answer: the price drops significantly towards the deadline as teams fall out of the race and must make a decision. Hey, last year Preller traded for Arraez in early May when he felt the price was right, so he'll do it if he thinks the price is right. Just to be clear, the Miller trade isn't really what we're talking about here. That's a guy with 4 years of control added to what's already a strength. It's the O'Hearn-Laureano deal. Those guys are both perfect fits. I don't think you're going to get them at any point before July 31st, at least not at a reasonable price. Not adding until July definitely comes with a cost in these standings, but you're almost always going to overpay if you move early. So yeah, I know I've seen criticism like that before about why didn't we just make these moves in the offseason or whatever, but like Orioles specifically, like they're a team that wanted to contend, right? They're beyond disappointed. Their fans, everybody is beyond disappointed for how they performed today. Like Adley Rutschman, for example, who they're going to try to move in the offseason, I've seen. So at the trade deadline at July, I think the Orioles were just like, yeah, we're screwed. Time to sell. So it's really that timing ability, because like May, there's plenty of season left, right? If we would have, I don't know what the Orioles record was in May, but say they're below 500, there's still plenty of baseball left. That's not really a time to sell your team. But for a team like last year, like the Marlins, when we got Arraez, the Marlins are crap. They're not going to do anything. So trading away Arraez was a good option for them. Sorry, just knocked my mic. So yeah, I mean, it sucks that there was definitely games back then that we could have won with a deeper lineup, but it's better. I think it would have been more expensive, even though it was expensive. Don't get me wrong. It was expensive to trade for these players. It could have been more expensive back earlier in the season. So it's a hard job. Basically, it's a really hard job AJ Preller has. But I don't hate what he did. I just like, I don't know. It depends on how you look at it, of course. Like, obviously, Federmean, I like Federmean, but Stephen Kolek and Ryan Bergert, like, that hurts. But you know what I mean. I've said it before a billion times. This one has 2 of them. What do you think our playoff rotation is going to be? Obviously, Pivetta and King, but who follows them up in a wild card series? Does Mike trust Cease or you more? Pivetta, King, or King Pivetta if we see Ace Michael King down the stretch. Then I like Cease in Game 3. Cease has been far too inconsistent even within his own starts, but one benefit of playoff baseball is that the moment Cease begins to teeter, you can go to your bullpen immediately. I think Cease's next few starts in the regular season will be about earning more trust for his playoff starts, but still, if he's been dominant for 3 innings, then starts to nibble in the 4th with this bullpen, there's no reason not to use it as soon as possible. So that's one case I like about Cease, and we've mentioned it before, is that first time around the lineup, he is usually really, 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 really good. It's when they see him again that they start to hit him harder. So if he can be dominant for 3-4 innings, well, 3 innings, because that'd be the minimum. If he can be dominant for like 3 innings, get everyone out, and then we go to the bullpen, that's great. Or just like go to like someone like JP Sears to mop up after 3 innings. I don't know. But I think Cease would be the best option for Game 3. I know I've seen him pitch horribly in big games. We all have, right? But who else realistically do we want in that spot? You, yes. Like, I want you in the playoffs, even if he hasn't been as good. But I think as a pure nastiness stuff meter and higher upside would be Cease over you. But we'll see how Cease pitches the rest of the year before we start like setting a definitive starting pitching rotation. How is Arn? Oh, this is okay. So this next one's about Liverpool FC, the Premier League team. I don't think anyone here watches. I mean, I watch Premier League, but Man United sucks. So I watch more SDFC right now. So we'll skip that. But if you want to read about Liverpool FC, feel free. What is the long-term plan for third base? Machado's defense has fallen off a cliff this year and is only expected to get worse over the remainder of his contract with no apparent replacement in sight. Disagree with the notion that he's fallen off a cliff. High volumes of errors, sure, but he's also played every game and he's made a whole lot of plays that not many third basemen make. Add it all up, and I'd say defensively he's been around league average this year, which is fine. At some point in the contract, maybe he follows the path of so many aging third basemen have taken by moving to first base, but he's a much better third baseman than most of the group of players who have done so. So here's guessing it'll be a while before that happens. I mean, to call him a horrible third baseman is just wrong. Like, he's a good third baseman. Yes, he's committed a lot of errors and some boneheaded plays, but overall, I still would want Manny Machado at third base, at least for the next couple of years. I mean, he's done enough, he's deserved enough, and he plays hard enough at third base, at least, that he deserves to start there the majority of days, in my opinion. You might think differently, but that's my opinion, of course. I think I have one more after this. Let me see. Yeah. So obviously the Padres dealt some very serious talent at the deadline, but internally, does the front office believe they held on to some gems that are higher on than the rest of the industry? Cruz Schoolcraft getting rave reviews early, while Cash Mayfield and Miguel Mendez have strong 2025 seasons. Jorge Quintana has great size for an 18-year-old shortstop. Is our pipeline underrated? Yes. They know they gave up a lot but they were also very pleased with who they were able to hold on to. And you know what? They've earned the benefit of the doubt, having rebuilt their farm system on 3 or 4 other occasions. And yeah, lots of people were very happy Schoolcraft fell to them. And Christian just made a video on Schoolcraft, but he had some iffy moments, but overall, it was a good start for him. So I think if anyone can rebuild a farm system for us, it's absolutely AJ Preller. He does it all the time. So he has my full faith in that. And full faith in major league talent development and trades, that's another question, but getting prospects and building them is a AJ Preller specialty. So yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Yeah, that's all. So yeah, I never showed you this. I meant to. I forgot. But about the Luis Arraez one, Arraez is officially under 100 weighted runs created plus, which is average. So he's below that, which means he's below average. When he plays, he hits second in the lineup. Can't really defend this decision making. So yeah, he's number 9 on the team right now in weighted runs created plus. Just a little bit worse than Xander Bogaerts. So yeah, I mean, Shildt, I get what you're trying to do. It's just not working. It's just not working. But yeah, let me know how you guys feel about all of this stuff. Do you agree with AJ Cassavell on a lot of things, or are there some things you disagree with? Do you think we should re-sign Arraez next offseason, or do you want a more power-heavy bat? How do you feel about our starting rotation in the playoffs? Do you want Cease pitching at all, or do you want him off the rotation? Let me know. A lot of questions today. Just let me know how you feel. But thank you guys so much for watching. Sorry for the long video, but, you know, we like to yap on this channel. So hopefully you guys are having a fantastic rest of your day. Go Padres. Please win today and then tomorrow. And just keep winning games, because if not, we're screwed and I'm going to be sad. Thank you for watching. Goodbye. Please subscribe if I didn't say that. Please subscribe. Goodbye.